This is QTV Night News coming to you live from our studios on Kaiba Avenue, and I am Jennifer Sonko. Thank you for joining us here at the main news headlines. At a press conference on Wednesday, Gambia participates in collaboration with the Election Watch Committee and the Edward Francis Small Rights for Justice urged National Assembly members to reinstate Clause 14 in the Elections Bill with amendment. The Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, Ibrahim Asila, and the Minister for Lands and Regional Government, Ahmad N.K. Ba, appeared before parliamentarians on Wednesday to respond to important questions concerning their respective ministries. The British High Commission, in partnership with the Gambia Environmental Alliance, hosted an innovation fair and iftar at a British High Commissioner's residence on Tuesday. The Gambia Press Union executive paid a courtesy visit to the management of QTV on Wednesday as part of the union's ongoing engagement with media houses. And in international news, France has announced the transfer of 2 military bases in Dakar to Senegalese control, marking the first step in the complete withdrawal of French troops from Senegal. Now, those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Do stay. Thank you for staying with us. This is QTV News and I am Jennifer Sonko. Now, Gambia participates in partnership with the Election Watch Committee and the Edward Francis Small Rights for Justice convened a press conference to discuss the recent decision by Parliament to remove Clause 14 from the Elections Bill 2021. The clause, which some legal experts argue could have enabled Gambians living abroad to participate in public elections, has sparked widespread concern. Usman Jata has the rest of that.
The hopes of Gambians living abroad were dashed on March 4th when Parliament decided to remove Clause 14 from the Elections Bill 2021. This clause, which would have granted overseas Gambians the right to vote, was excluded despite persistent calls from civil society organizations urging the inclusion of provisions to enfranchise the diaspora community. The decision has sparked widespread concern both in the Gambia and among the diaspora. Saliu Tal is the chairperson of the Gambia Participates.
The law has been provided. The legal framework was what is missing. And IEC is legally mandated to do that. And they have not done it to date. So this clause was strengthened and was subject of intense debate and discourse to ensure that it is very clear that IEC have to do it, and was very specific as to what they should do.
Many members of the National Assembly NAMS who voted for the deletion of Clause 14 cited its potential incompatibility with Section 39(1) of the 1997 Constitution, which outlines the qualifications for voting in elections. The section states that every citizen of the Gambia, aged 18 or older and of sound mind, shall have the right to vote in the election of the President and members of the National Assembly. It also ensures that citizens are entitled to register as voters in a National Assembly constituency. However, the position paper from the Gambia Participates views the removal of Clause 14 as a direct infringement on the constitutional rights of Gambians living abroad. The organization argues that the decision disregards the verdict of the Supreme Court of the Gambia, which has affirmed the rights of all citizens, including those living abroad, to participate in the electoral process. Marnyang, Executive Director of the Gambia Participates, further elaborated on the position paper.
Clause 14 does not contradict Section 39. Rather, it provides legal guidelines for the IEC to register diaspora voters under existing constituencies, ensuring their participation without requiring new ones. Deleting Clause 14 violates constitutional rights. By removing this clause, the National Assembly directly violates Section 39 of the 1997 Constitution, which guarantees voting rights to all citizens of the Gambia that are eligible to vote.
The press conference concluded with a call for National Assembly members to reconsider their decision and reinforce Clause 14 in the Elections Bill with necessary amendments. The push for the inclusion of overseas voting remains a critical issue as the Gambia prepares for its upcoming general election, with advocates urging lawmakers to ensure that all Gambians, regardless of where they live, have the right to participate in the democratic process. The future of Gambians living in the diaspora who wish to vote and choose the leaders who will guide the affairs of their country may hinge on how Parliament addresses the concerns raised by civil society. Osman Chata, reporting for QTV News.
The Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, Ibrahim Silla, and the Minister of Lands and Regional Government, Ahmad Nkeba, appeared before the National Assembly on Wednesday to respond to important questions concerning their respective ministries. Mamadou Gajag was present at the National Assembly, and this is his report.
For the Minister of Transport, Ibrahim Silla, several road projects earmarked for construction were highlighted, including the Kabada Road in the Jaro area linking Japine, Digante, via Sasita Toranka and Medina Sasita, as well as another road connecting Sare Sedi and Seno Bajonki via Foroya Fula and Foroya Medina, amongst others. The National Assembly member for Jara Central, Keba Jalo, questioned Minister Silla about the prolonged delay in the construction of these projects.
The aforementioned areas were initially identified and studied as part of the nationwide Rural Roads Development Project for potential construction. However, due to financial constraints, priority was given to the roads currently under construction.
The Gambia government, through the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, granted a license to Nagma, a Turkish company, to operate a private ferry service between Banjul and Bara, utilizing the route from Fort Bulen in Bara. However, concerns were raised about the potential impact of this ferry service on a national heritage site and popular tourist attraction along the route. National Assembly member Seni Jawara voiced these concerns, to which Minister Silla provided responses.
Why the ministry is giving a permit to the private company to go and demolish the area or to harm the requirements that are indicated in the Act? Why?
A point of correction, Honorable Speaker. It is not the responsibility of the Ministry of Transport, Works and Infrastructure to issue a development permit to operators of ferries to construct crossing points in any part of this country.
Lamin J. Sane, the National Assembly member for Brikama South, engaged the Minister of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs, Ahmad Nkeba, on the ongoing unresolved border crisis at Dasilame between the Gambia and Senegal.
The emphasis is what stage is the development of the roadmap as per the demarcation of this border, which is very, very important right now.
It's a very sensitive issue, and the technical committees are working on it, and be rest assured that it's this government desire to resolve this crisis as soon as possible.
In a dramatic turn of events, the Minister of Lands, Ahmad Ba, appears to use a word that was widely criticized by some National Assembly members as inappropriate. This occurred while he was responding to a question raised by the National Assembly member for Serekunda, Musa Cham, regarding collection of fees from street vendors and hawkers by local councils.
Roads are for vehicles to ply on, but not to be used as markets. So what we are saying here is that are we comfortable to say that the council is not supporting the central government's drive to clear the road for our safety?
Mr. Speaker, let me remind the honorable member. When the government of the Gambia embarked on clearing the road, you were the big opposition, big mouth who were insulting, abusing this government.
Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
From that, the British High Commission, in partnership with the Gambia Environmental Alliance, hosted an innovation fair and iftar at the British High Commissioner's residence on Tuesday. The event offered a platform for young innovators to present their solutions for climate change, waste management and other environmental challenges. Favor Ujum tells us more.
This event brought together young Gambians to showcase their innovative ideas and products designed to tackle climate change challenges. Some of the innovations featured included the Lagos Live Well project, which uses carbon credits to provide free stoves, solar-powered irrigation systems, and youth-led reforestation initiatives. Additionally, Plantation Nurseries presented their Community Environmental Resilience project, through agroforestry, which teaches farmers and communities sustainable techniques to combat deforestation and promote biodiversity. Another project showcase was Precious Plastic Gambia, which focuses on recycling plastics. Here is Babukar E. Kamara, the head of its operations.
So we sell these products to support ourselves, our initiative, and also support the conservation organizations that are actually working with the total conservation projects. And of course, we also make rulers. These rulers are used for students. They are one of the cheapest products that we make because actually they are for people that are, low income earners or no income at all. The earrings that we produce, these ones are also used for fashions, and we also make buttons. The buttons are also used in the fashion industry. Coasters are used in hotels or homes to cover their like your glasses, and of course it's the same. Coasters can be used for wall decoration, so you can use it for multiple purposes.
The Gambia Environmental Alliance, a coalition of over 50 CSOs in the Gambia, is dedicated to supporting initiatives that ensure a cleaner and healthier Gambia for future generations. The organization is led by Momodu Inkeba.
We hosted for the third time consecutively the local conference of youth on climate change, where we drew over 500 young people across the country to learn about climate change and its devastating effects on the lives and livelihoods of the people that are really affected. Besides that, we also are partnering with the government of the Gambia through the Ministry of Environment and through the Gambia Maritime Association, where we engage in beach cleanups from Banjul down to Katong. Not only that, we also held series of trainings where we empower our CSOs, our member organizations, individuals, give them mentorship, but where we were able to protect the Bijilo Forest Park that was almost degazetted and given to the American Embassy. Not only that, we are also able to reclaim the Salaji Forest Park and also the Abuko Nature Reserve, where a lot of encouragement is taking place. We do all this, in collaboration with the government of the Gambia.
His Excellency Martin Norman is the British Deputy High Commissioner to the Gambia.
Tonight's iftar reminds us of the blessings of food and water, things we often take for granted. Yet we know that climate change threatens access to both. Sustainable agriculture, conservation and climate resilience must be priorities for all of us.
This event marks a significant step towards better environmental management and sustainability in the fight against climate change. Reporting for QTV News, I am Favor Uche Ejim.
From that story, we will now go for a short commercial break, and when we return, we have local and international news stories. To stay with us.
fii mooy fan fii mooy Inessa di place bi nga xam ne moom la ñëpp taam place bi bépp xeetu ataaya bu baax rek bu dugg see ci dëkk bi xamal ne fii rek la am bara wërga bi neex na lool saf na ba pare tamit nag am gu bu neex boo ko naanee rek da ngay kontaan ci saas añ ba suur ba gëreesal li nga lekk jëndal baara ataaya bi ndax moom la ñëpp taam gis nga sama client bi ataaya bu neex bu ne moom laa koy njëkk a jox ndax moom kat ataaya bu neex rek lay wër baara wërga bi mooy wërga bi gën te moo gën a saf kon nag ràññee leen ko bu baax kon daw leen gaaw ca Banjul foofu ca Inessa di place bi nga xam ni foofu rek nga ko mën a amee wholesale wala retail mu ngi foofu ci boori court house bi foofu ca Banjul wala nga daw ci bépp marché bépp supermarket bépp boutique fépp foo dugg rek di nga mën a am baara warga bii nga xam ne moom la ñëpp di wër tey baara warga moo dàq ci warga yi man maa ngi ci moom ndax su ma maree ataaya moom rek lay naan.
The future is now. With QCell's 5G network, experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I am Jennifer Sonko. Now, the Gambia Press Union executive paid a courtesy visit to the management of QTV on Wednesday. As part of their ongoing engagement with media houses, the visit aimed to present the GPU action plan outlining key initiatives and strategies for the media sector. Lolem Camara has the rest of that.
This interaction is part of the GPU leadership's efforts to foster collaboration, strengthen the relationship between press organizations and stakeholders, and discuss the way forward for media practitioners in the country. Aissatou Keita, president of the GPU, reiterated the union's commitment to improving the working conditions of journalists. She highlighted key initiatives, including the collective bargaining agreement, the sexual harassment policy, the assault and battery guide for journalists, and the significance of the National Journalism Awards, which are held annually to recognize excellence in the field.
Some of it has to do with the issue of contracts. Some staff of certain institutions do work without even giving a contract, and at the end of the day would result to them being dismissed from work, and then without nothing being done on it. And also we realize that most of them are working and paid below standard in terms of their qualification and also their experience. So we came up with a payment scale which is at least $5,000 for any media worker. That is the minimum amount that any media worker should be paid. And then when we talk about media workers, we are not only talking about journalists, we are talking about even the driver, the technician, and even the cleaner.
Malika, general manager of QTV and Q Radio, welcomed the GPU team and extended his congratulations to the newly elected executives. He expressed his gratitude for the visit and recognized the significance of the GPU's initiative in advancing the media sector. Mr. Carr also addressed the points raised by the GPU president.
We are a very structured organization, needless to say. And when it comes to pay, the first aspect that you mentioned, I think that is an issue that is not really affecting QTV, because I don't think there is anybody receiving anything less than $7,000 or even $8,000, in terms of pay. All our employees will be having more than that, absolutely, and your minimum is $5,000. So that is already not an issue for us to really deal with. In terms of the welfare of the workers as well, like I said, as a structured institution, we have already an existing HR. The HR, we have rules and regulations that governs, and they operate within the confines and laws of the Gambia.
Babukar Sise, deputy head of the QTV News Department, shared his suggestions regarding the GPU membership registration process for journalists, which has stalled over the years.
For example, if someone from GPU comes around with a form and says, I'm going to QTV, you have an appointment with QTV today, I'm going to register it, I believe almost all of us will register. But then individually coming there to register or to take a form could be an issue, because if you may have to send Ahmad over, I say, bring a form for me. I could have gone there, but I didn't have the time. But I think approaching every media house, it could be difficult. It's another task, but I think that will be significant.
Surif Sedikan, Vice President of the GPU, and Meta Toure, Treasurer of the Union, also spoke during the meeting. They reaffirmed the union's commitment to its mission and emphasized the need for greater involvement from all stakeholders to ensure the successful realization of the union's goals. Since their election in December, the new GPU executive team has been actively engaging with journalists and media houses, fostering collaboration and discussing the union's priorities. As part of their visit, they presented assault and battery guide for journalists and access to information handbook to QTV management, further emphasizing their commitment to the protection and welfare of media workers. For QTV News, Loliam Camara.
A newly built maternity ward at the Jabang Health Center was officially handed over to the Ministry of Health by their German partners on Tuesday, aimed at enhancing maternal care in the Gambia. Mam Nabuka attended the handing over, and this is her report.
The event, attended by government officials, healthcare professionals and community members, marked a significant milestone for the Jabang Health Center since its establishment in 2022. The newly equipped maternity ward, featuring beds, ultrasound machines, oxygen concentrators, baby skills, suction machines and wheelchairs, aims to provide a safe and comfortable environment for expectant mothers in Jabang and surrounding areas, ensuring proper medical care during pregnancy and childbirth. Jibril Koli, the Alcalo of Jabang, who officially initiated the handover ceremony, described the gesture as commendable and expressed hope that it would positively impact the community. Fatu Johnson is the VDC chairman of Jabang, while Barkiso Betts serves as the officer in charge of the new maternity ward.
This place was built before, but not with standard to the Ministry of Health. But with the intervention of our able sponsors, Gambia, our dreams have come true. We will not go out of Jabang for antenatal or delivery again.
The facility is glad to be provided with a labor ward. As this labor ward, we go a long way in easing access to delivery services, thereby reducing maternal and infant mortality.
Barbara and Jorgen Froba shared their thoughts on the new maternity ward, which is expected to significantly improve maternal health care in the community.
I think it is important to have in this area a maternity like that. It's a very small one, but nevertheless it is one.
I hope that the patients find here a place where they know there's care for them and they feel comfortable. It is a place, it's already started to be this and it will be enlarged, and this is wonderful.
Abduke Jallo, representative of reproductive, maternal, neonatal and child health, along with Fatu Sanyang, the principal nursing officer at the health center, addressed some challenges that need attention with the introduction of the new facility.
We have created demand. Therefore, we should be ready to render the services. How can we render the service? We can't render it at distance. So if the midwife is staying away from Jabang, how are you so that the midwife will reach you at the right point? And that's where the ambulance also is very crucial. This place must be ambulance.
Teamwork is key. So a strong maternity unit strives on collaboration between nurses, midwives, doctors and support staff. You also need to prioritize safe practices, follow up strict hygiene measures, emergency protocols, and continuous monitoring to ensure the safety of the mothers and the newborns.
Musa Kamara is the Regional Director of Health for Western Region 1.
The beacon of hope here is the availability of a new maternity building, which is going to curb the problem of people having challenges in getting access to quality healthcare, especially when it comes to delivery, going to other facilities. Now the service will be provided in Jabang.
The new maternity ward at Jabang Health Center marks a key step in improving maternal health care in the Gambia. With support from German philanthropists and the Ministry of Health, the community can expect better health outcomes for mothers and newborns. Mam Nabuka, reporting for QTV News.
From that story by Mam Nabuka, let's now take a look at news beyond our borders. France has announced the transfer of 2 military bases in Dakar to Senegalese control, marking the first step in the full withdrawal of French troops, with the return of these sites planned by the end of 2025. More in this report. The French military have had a presence in Senegal since 1960. In November 2024, Senegalese President Bassirou Diomaye Faye declared that French military bases were incompatible with the nation's sovereignty and called for the departure of 350 French soldiers. The withdrawal follows the announcement by both nations revealing their decision to establish a commission to oversee the departure of French troops from Senegal. A joint statement highlighted the intention of both countries to foster a defense and security partnership that aligns with the strategic priorities of all parties. The Commission held its first meeting on February 28. According to France 24, French military bases in Dakar and the surrounding area directly employ 162 staff, with a total of 400 to 500 people working in subcontracted industries. Since the beginning of 2022, there has been several withdrawals of French military troops from West African countries, despite decades of presence. Mali, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, Chad, Senegal and Ivory Coast have all terminated their defense agreements with France. Senegal gained independence from France in 1960, but has remained one of its closest allies in West Africa. However, following the 2024 election, Senegal's new government has pledged to treat France as an equal among other foreign partners. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Basongo. That is all we have time for, but before we leave, let's recap our main headlines. At a press conference on Wednesday, Gambia participates in collaboration with the Election Watch Committee and the Edward Francis Small Rights for Justice urged National Assembly members to reinstate Clause 14 in the Elections Bill with amendment. The Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, Ibrahim Asila, and the Minister for Lands and Regional Government, Ahmad N.K. Ba, appeared before parliamentarians on Wednesday to respond to important questions concerning their respective ministries. The British High Commission, in partnership with the Gambia Environmental Alliance, hosted an innovation fair and iftar at the British High Commissioner's residence on Tuesday. The Gambia Press Union executive paid a courtesy visit to the management of QTV on Wednesday as part of the union's ongoing engagement with media houses. And in international news, France has announced the transfer of 2 military bases in Dakar to Senegalese control, marking the first step in the complete withdrawal of French troops from Senegal. Well, that is all we have for you in this edition of QTV News. Join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. for more news. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of our programs.